Hi, today we are going to see how to consume a SOAP service using Springboot API. So as part of this video, this is the agenda we are going to see. So we will see some introduction about the web services, and I will explain about the SOAP, and after that I will make you to understand about the basics of WSDL, and finally we will see the steps required to consume a SOAP using the Springboot API. The outcome of this video is we are going to create an API using the Spring Boot framework, and that API is going to consume a SOAP service. And first we will talk about the web services. Web services is used for communication between the provider and the consumer. So it means provider and consumer are also two different systems. For example, you are trying to book a flight ticket, and flight you are using a flight booking application where you will enter your credit card number or debit card number, whatever, and the flight booking application will make a request to the banking system, and it will ask for the debit and other information details. So it is going to make transaction. This bank flight booking application is going to get some data and make some transaction with the banking system. So here we are trying to communicate with the two different systems. So for this types of communication, the web services will be used. We have two types of web services. One is REST and SOAP. In this video, we are going to see about SOAP. So in SOAP, the consumer should know about the provider interface, and the contact information will be shared as a WSDL. So if the provider knows about the consumer, they will directly send the WSDL file to the consumer. If the provider don't know about the consumer, so he will register the WSDL in the UDDI. UDA is the expansion of Universal Description Discovery and Integration. So in SOAP, it's all about WSDL, and the WSDL will be provided by the provider, and the consumer has to understand the WSDL, and he will make the request and we will get the corresponding response. So now we will see about the WSDL. So I will show you a WSDL. See, this is a WSDL. It contains a set of tags. So we have a types tag, we have a message tag, and we have a prototype tag, and we have the binding tag, and finally we have a service tag. So WSDL service tag. So if you see here the list, types types data type is defined here. So if you see the types here, uh, see here there are two different types of data type is defined here. So here one is get bank type, and this element name is get bank, and the response is get bank response type. This type is the element name is get bank response. If you see this one, and get bank type is a complex type. It will contain the element one string element, and this is called BLC. The same way, get bank response type is a complex type, and it has the type called details type. And this detail types we have three elements. So this is also complex one, and this has a three string elements. So under the type, we'll have all our data types defined. We'll see all the information about the types. So here next one is message. Message defines the data communication between the client and provider. So if you see the message here, it defines there is one parameter we are going to pass is called get bank, and we are going to get the response. Another message they have defined as a response. As part of the response, we are going to get bank response. And next is operation. So operation is the abstract description of actions. For each action you can pass the request and get response. So here if you see the operation name, here the operation name is get bank. Get bank means we are going to pass the request. As part of this operation, the request is get bank and the response is get bank response. So we have a one operation in this port type. Port type. Port type is a set of operation and combination of request and response communication. That is what we have seen here. And binding. Binding defines the protocol and format specification for the operation like get, post, HTTP, etc. So now we will see one binding tag. So here we have one binding tag. In the binding tag, we will have what is the operation has been defined here. See, here we have one operation, and also under the binding we have, see, what is the transport URL used here, and what is the style. I mean here this is a document style binding. So all the information has been mentioned here. So we have seen about the binding. Next is service. Service aggregates a set of related ports. If you go to the service tag, so BLC service is a service, and under the service we have a port, and this port is like uh, SOAP has two versions. One is SOAP 1.1 version and SOAP 1.2 version. So it has two ports. One is SOAP 1.1 version port and one is 1.2 post. So this web service support SOAP 1.1 framework and 1.2 protocol. So under this, under the port, we'll have the location, address, everything. So this is the service hosted address where, I mean server address where this web service is hosted. For this location only we are going to send the request, and based on the request we are going to get the response from this location. So this is the URL. So this is for SOAP 1.1 version, and the same has been defined here for the SAP 1.2, SOAP 1.2. So we have seen about all the tags in the WSDL, and now we will see about what are the steps to consume a SOAP in Springboot. So to consume a SOAP in Springboot, we have to follow all these steps. First is you have to create the Spring project, and you have to get the WSDL from the provider. And after that, you have to convert the WSDL to stub. After getting the stub, you have to understand the request and response and the types operation using any tool like SOAP UI. And I'll explain you that process too. And after that, you have to form the request object, and you can form the request object by mapping the data, and you have to call the SOAP URI. And after forming this request object, this Java object has to be converted as the XML. So this process is called marshalling, and for this JAXB library will be used here. And finally, when after sending the request, we will receive the response, and response will be in the format of XML. And for that you have to do unmarshalling to extract the Java object out of the XML. So now we will see SOAP UI, and I will explain you about the WSDL request and response type. So here, if you want to use SOAP UI, just install SOAP latest UI, and you have free version is available. And to create a SOAP project, click on new SOAP project, and here you have to give the WSDL URL. So here our WSDL URL is this one. I'll just copy this WSDL URL and I'll give the project name, and if you click on OK, and it will create the SOAP project. Just click on OK for all other dialog boxes. See here, as I said, we have the list of operation, and this is port binding, and this is a service. So see, this is the request we are going to give. So in the request we have to pass this BLC parameter. I know the correct BLC parameter, and let me give the correct parameter. See, this is the correct request. If I give the correct request, and if I click on this run button, see, this is the output I got. Just let me run that one more time. See, this is the output I got. So I passed this code, BLC code, and as part of this response, I got some information. BIC, the string is BIC, and ORT and PLC. Okay. Oh, so this is the way you have to execute this OPOI, and you can pass the request and you will get the response. Okay. First, we will create the Springboot project. Just to create the Springboot project, just click on File, New, Spring Starter Project, and give the name of the project and give group, artifact, version, description, etc. etc. and click on Next. And under the dependencies section, you have to choose two dependencies. One is Spring Web and the other one is Spring Web Services. And click on Finish. I have already created the project, so I don't want to create one more project. So this is the project I have created and this is the structure of the project. Next step is you have to get the WSDL and you have to convert the WSDL as a stub classes. So get the WSDL from the, for getting the WSDL, so I just copy this WSDL. So I just copy this WSDL and you have to paste this WSDL under, resources, resources and WSDL folder. See, I have pasted my WSDL. And to convert this WSDL as stub classes, you have to update this dependency. I'll show you the dependency. This is this plugin dependency you have to update. So this is JAX-B library, and here you have to give the package where you want the stub classes has to be created. And here I want my class has to be created inside a folder called stub. So I have created this package. I have created this package and I have specified this package name here. And I'm here I'm just specifying about where my WSDL has been copied. So this is my WSDL directory. And after updating your pom.xml, just right click and run as Maven. Click on Maven install. It will automatically build all your it will automatically convert your WSDL into stub, and you can see the stub classes here. See, these are the stub classes has been created for me. And if you see here, the XML elements has been converted as a Java objects here, Java classes here. And so get bank is the request we have to pass, and this is the request class, and this request we have to set the string called BLC. So now we will see how we are going to convert, how we can form the request and how we are going to get the response. So first, to connect with the SOAP service, you should have the bean config class. In the bean config class, you will have the JAX-B library class. So this JAX-B library class, here we are going to set the stub package, set context path, where here you have to provide where you have your stub classes, and this is going to return the modular object, and this modular object will be passed as the input to the SOAP client, and SOAP client SOAP connector. And after that you have to create the new instance of the SOAP client, and this client will have this default methods, set default URI and set modular. This is for marshalling the input and unmarshalling the response object. And finally we are going to return the client. Now we have a SOAP client class, so we have to create this SOAP client class. In the SOAP client class, you should mention the response type. This is the response class we are going to get response type. See, this is the response we are going to get. So you have to mention that response type here, and what is the operation available. So getBank is the operation. So I have defined getBank name as a getBank, and here this SOAP client has to extend the web service gateway support, and this has the inbuilt methods which is called get web service template and and that is again calling Marshall send and receive. For this we have to pass input as a URL and the request object, and we are going to call this in our. So we have created the bean config and soap client. So this is the API. We are planning to build this as an API. So to build the API, we need the endpoint. So if we need the endpoint, we need to create the controller classes, and from the controller classes, we are going to call this method. And in the controller class, we are going to set the request object, and we are going to pass that one. So if you go to the controller class, see, this is my controller class. This is the REST controller. So I have given the annotation as a REST controller, and the request mapping just slash. So if I give HTTP localhost and slash, this controller will be called. And in this controller, I have the instance of I have a SOAP client object, and here in the controller for the get method, I have this method defined here, and in this method I need to pass the parameter called code, request parameter. That code will be assigned here as the BLC code. So here you have to create, first you have to create the object factory, and after that get bank type is the type of the input we have to pass, and under this is a complex type. Under this type we have the method called set BLC. So we are going to set the BLC as the code what we have received as the input query param. So after this setting the request, we have to pass the request object to the SOAP client method. So we will have the SOAP client object, and we will call the getBank. So this getBank method is nothing but this method what we have written here. So for this we have to pass the URL and the request. URL is the web service URL what has been defined in the service tag, under the service tag. And here using the object factory, we are going to create the bank. Create the bank. See, if you see here, see in the object factory you have all these below methods. Get bank type. So here we are going to create the request. So we are going to call this get bank type method. And we are returning the response. After running this program, so let me run this program. So we need to hit this API with the write request. So for hitting the API, I'm going to use the Postman. This is running in the port 8080. So I have to give the URL as http://localhost:8080, and I have to pass the correct code as a request parameter. So as I said, this is the URL and this is the correct code. Let me click on send. See, this is the response I'm receiving here. If you see in the WSDL, the response is the get bank response, that is a complex type. And if you refer this complex type, get bank response details, under the details type we will get this below elements: BIC, ORT, PLC. The same thing I have got as a response in the Postman. See. So this is the response we got. So in this video, first I will explain you about what is web service, and after that we will see about we have seen about SOAP service, and as part of the SOAP we have explored about the WSDL. After exploring all the WSDL tags, we move to Springboot. Using the Springboot, we have seen steps. What are the steps required to convert WSDL to step, and how can you convert the Java object to XML, and finally you are building an API. Yeah, this is the API endpoint, and using this API, this is the input request param, and In this API, you are calling the SOAP service, and as part of the SOAP service, you are getting this as a response. Thank you.